Order. Aaron Hall, please start us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Oh, I forgot the roll call. Clerk Bridget Gill, will you please do roll call for us? Here.
Councilmember Seifert.
Here.
Councilmember Kohler.
Present.
Councilmember Van Hayes.
I'm in person.
You're in person. Councilmember Sander.
Present.
Councilmember Stravitz.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, can I get approval of the meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Well, first of all, we're gonna do the agenda.
Agenda. I'm sorry, the agenda.
Yeah, I
I'm sorry,
meant
the
approval
agenda.
of the meeting agenda, board.
Yeah, the
Do
agenda.
we have to amend the meeting agenda because we didn't follow it?
We did follow it, actually. If you notice, this was always there. I stated that we would have the copy for you. So the credit card policy is in
Oh,
fact
but
up.
No,
we
Dan.
didn't do we did the pledge of allegiance.
Oh.
I think we're all right.
I will leave that to you to decide if we make an amendment or not.
I'll make a
Second.
motion to. I will second the motion.
All right, thank you.
So do you want me to take a vote?
No, aren't we approving the agenda?
Yes,
I don't know what
approval of the agenda.
Are we approving of the agenda?
This
Okay.
is my first time here.
All in favor for approving the agenda as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have no local agency reports tonight. We have 0 other presentations. Do we have any public comments? And we have 0 public comments. I don't see a need for an executive session. Do you see a need? Woohoo! Already off to the races with item 8A, our STIP, Kyle.
Yeah, with a big old speed bump in this. So I sat down after we had our public works huddle with Shauna and Kelly and Mike Ankney, and sat down with Matt Gillis, started going over the step. I gave you 2 copies. I gave you the red line copy, so maybe you just, maybe it'd be easier to tell what we were getting rid of and or moving. And then I gave you the actual copy of where we're at. It's just a rough draft. We still gotta get some accurate place filler numbers for some of the prices on the stuff I added. But we're in the works on that, and I'll have it finalized for you next month. So if I'm looking at the red line stricken one, starting from the top, obviously we're striking the Argonne widening and turn pockets project because it's finally wrapped up. We're leaving the full depth reclamation on there just because it's still in the process. I'm striking the Empire traffic calming with speed bumps and pavement revisions. Not saying that in the future we can't revisit more double speed humps or whatever, if, it's still on the table, it's just we're taking that off because that's the majority of the stuff that we worked on. Looking forward, the most critical thing after we get past that stuff would be to do a grind and overlay or like an FDR type project from where we're going to leave off this year at Frederick all the way down to the bridge. And then we can, officially check Argonne off the list for a while as far as pavement quality and preservation.
And so it's beyond chip seal.
Yeah, so like when I was talking to Matt, basically the main goal would be FDR this section like we'll do this year. I believe it's FDR this section down here. And then he's saying within 5 years to chip seal the entire thing. And theoretically, if you chip seal it and maintain it probably every 5 to 7 years, I think they're saying that our life expectancy of the pavement without any chip seal preservation or anything after it's actually laid down is about 25 years. But if we keep up on a chip seal and keep it maintained, we could, I don't know if we could say double it, but we could get a considerably longer life out of it.
Excellent.
So that would be next year's goals, along with possibly doing some of these other chip seal projects that I added farther down the list if funding or our own budgets could allow, but I'll get to that. We struck the sidewalk Dalton improvements and brought it all the way down to the very bottom of the list just because it was a extremely expensive project. You know, it had to do with redoing tons and tons of sidewalk and all kinds of stuff to try to alleviate the heaving. And with that precision concrete cutting project I did a couple of years ago, we alleviated
Yeah.
90% of our trip hazards out there.
You can replace the concrete, but until you get rid of the problem, you're gonna do it every year.
Right, and well, and I think I have 3 or 4 marked areas out there that were heaved beyond being able to be ground. And I'm hoping if things work out good enough for me this year, we're planning to go out there ourselves and demo those sections out and re-pour them.
All right.
And at that point, we won't have any trip hazards over there. And I mean, we can do a lot of maintenance at that level, you know, us pouring back small section and having precision concrete come back and doing a little more grinding. I mean, we can do a heck of a lot of grinding and pouring back for the,
Yeah.
whatever the price was on that $1 million. So I kept it on there just in case we want to revisit it
Yeah.
at some point, but. So I'll move that to the bottom. The Liberty chip seal was always on there. There's been a lot of discussion about traffic calming and stuff on there. I think, you know, there's been talk of double speed humps and stuff, and I think before we go to that extreme, we gotta have a little bit more data to back it up. But I think as one of the first steps we can do is, since we have to chip seal it, as I say, we do what we did with Empire, because once you chip seal, you gotta restripe everything anyway. So why don't we narrow the lanes down, make our bike paths a little bit wider, and start with that and see where that gets us, and then
Yeah.
revisit it after we do that. So I got the Liberty chip seal. I changed from just a Liberty chip seal and put in additional details with traffic calming and lane width narrowing and bike lane additions. One of the roads that was not on here that I added is Marguerite from Grace to South Riverway. Now, TIB has a map of all our road conditions that the director came out and done himself probably 3 or 4 years ago. And they're all graded red, green, and yellow by decay. So if I'm using that map and I go down that map, after this section of Argonne and Liberty, Marguerite is the next forest quality road we have. So I put that on here to get it in the works that we need to probably have a few little spots that need to be patched, but then a chip seal over that as well.
Okay.
With talking with Shauna, we did leave another placeholder in here for just various citywide traffic calming improvements, just so it's as a placeholder for whatever the consensus comes to. That can be open discussion that we talk about and figure out.
Can we share with them a little bit about where we've left it with the citizens? You know, we've had this Argonne going on now for 2, and it will be 3 years by the time we're wrapping up. And so people have brought up, as I know all of you have heard too, like all these different calming. But much to what Kyle's saying, we really do need to collect data. And if you remember, even the Empire came as an offspring from some public hearings, some talking with people, getting everybody's name, you know, not just the most vocal. And so I've been sharing at all the coffee with the mayors, and then I know Kyle also has been. 2027 would be the year that we're really starting to get a listing of all the different ideas that are out there in the public and stuff, and they understand we're not gonna do anything in the middle of a big Argonne project. And then we could catalog it and start talking about prioritizing, because there's no way we just wake up and start putting speed humps everywhere that people identify. Thank you.
Then I have Euclid chip seal. Euclid on that map was graded better than Marguerite, so something we need to keep on our radar, but I don't think it's super critical in the next couple of years. And then Buckeye chip seal, that would just be the section of Buckeye from Argonne to Sargent. If you remember, from Sargent to Vista, it's already been fully repaved, and so that's good for a while. The Grace signal equipment, as you're probably aware of now, Grace is the only signal we have left that is outdated. Some of it's antiquated. In this FDR project, they are redoing some ped ramps that are out of compliance, being too far. The ped ramp is too far away from the push buttons. So they're going to redo some of those to make those in compliance. And I think also replacing the actual PED actuators themselves, because those are giving us fits, and the county has been piecemealing parts of old stuff together and running out of that option. But the signal as a whole needs to be updated eventually. Not really something that's critical in the next couple of years. The second one from the bottom on that second page was the Grace and Marguerite intersection. This was something like prior administration had brought up, talking about speeding by the school there and that elevation difference between the intersection of Marguerite and Grace and then heading westbound, how it kind of dips down. There's some site issues there, and with the pickup and drop off of kids right there, and so a lot of times softball and whatever else, there's just a lot going on right there,
There's a lot of
depending on the time of day. And so he was thinking that if we could make that into a three-way stop, that would kind of slow everybody down and make everybody pay a little more attention to what's going on. And so we all agreed that I think that was a useful thing to keep on there, so it's still there. The Trent and Argonne Lane improvements, that was basically the removal of the merging lane there by Walgreens, because it seems like it's an all-out drag race through there to see who can cut off whoever first. And there was City of the Valley interest in that as well, because of their left turn lanes, northbound left turn lanes heading to go west onto Trent. The way that farthest left turn lane, it kind of gets choked off so nobody can get into it, and they think it's not a real great design what they have there either. So they were thinking they could do some lane shifting as well and collaborate out. We don't know exactly what that looks like as far as collaboration and funding yet, but it's something I think that
Going north and south under the overpass, I'm wondering, why is there so much curbing? And, you know, how many cars are gonna park down there? I mean, how many trucks are gonna be parking there?
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And also going southbound, like for 3 days in a row, there's somebody having a car problem. I don't know if they're just going to take the car to Spalding or what.
Well, Matt was showing us some data about that whole intersection and stuff, so we think just keep it on here if funding comes, or if there's a synergy between us, then we can do
Yeah.
it. Don't have to spearhead it.
So the numbers that are on this one that I've got rough drafted with, it doesn't have all the lines in it. Most of those numbers have been updated with some inflation calculations involved with that. The ones that are all to be determined, those are the ones I should have all ironed out with accurate numbers for next month. That's pretty much what I've been working on.
And this has to be to them in June? or
Um,
July?
Yeah, I believe July. I think the date is the 3rd or something of July. We have to have a public hearing at next meeting, right?
Yeah, one public hearing and then submitted by July 1st.
July 1st, oh, okay, that was the 3rd.
Last time, yeah.
So our thinking was, even though it's not complete, get it into your hands so you at least see the priority of, I know that both Dan and Kelly have been part of the even more detailed description during the public works huddle, but
Dan, I'm sorry, I forgot to say your name when I was calling off
I was
public
gonna
works
say
huddle.
the innovator of the entire huddle.
So that's what I've been, yeah, that's pretty much what I got for the 6-year street plan.
Alright.
Makes sense?
Perfect.
Looks good, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyle. So, we did, discuss at the finance committee, so I invite both Sean and Tina to share in this. The procurement, we have started picking through it. Tina actually got us some edits, but that was a bigger lift, and we got them later, and, Brian has not had a chance. But the credit card policy we've been talking about for quite some time was a much shorter one, and we had some, clear path of how we could get this in front of you. So Tina, Rockstar Tina, took it home, made her blue track changes. And the only thing that I want you to note is that on page, one of the things is this credit card policy used to say, please make reference to procurement policy link, or please make reference to this link. And one of the comments by both Sean and Tina is, can we get all the links out of here, have this be a standalone policy, and then, the procurement one being the big, source of all of it. So on the Article 5.0 that says approval use of credit card purchases, where it has the yellow, insert, IRS policy, we would actually take this out if you guys were, to approve this we'll bring this back next month, but that will say instead, in accordance with current IRS requirements. So there will be no links in this. The substantive changes, Tina always finds some grammatical stuff, unfortunately, but, the substantive changes here, as you guys all know, the employees do not reconcile at a weekly basis. They reconcile at a monthly basis, so we wanted to update that. We also have a fuel card that the gentlemen used when they were refueling our fleet. And we wanted to make a provision in case for some reason that fuel card doesn't work, that they would be permitted to use their own credit card and get a reimbursement. It almost never happens, but it has happened, so we want to just be able to cover actual practice with the policy.
We just updated ours,
Yeah,
you have 48 hours.
48 hours, yeah?
48 hours to send your receipt to the proper email. There's 5 emails.
Yeah.
So gas goes to one, lodging goes to one,
You guys are so high volume, and you have a lot of administrative staff, as you know, it's
and a
truly
lot of
just-
anger when
Yeah.
we're doing it.
It's like 7 of us trying to keep the wheels on the bus here, so we're gonna go ahead and make a reasonable accommodation.
I have a question under section 6.1.
Yes, please.
Fuel, using a fuelman card, is that going to change in the future? Is that a standard card? What's a fuelman card?
No. Do you guys have a
Make
gas
it-
card?
It's to my understanding, it's just what is the name of our gas cards. They have gas specific cards that they're able to use to fuel, and that's the one that are saying on 2 occasions. It's very rare. They always use the fuel card as it is intended, but it's been rare, it's been rejected, but if it's rejected and one of the fleet is like empty, they need to have a,
Should we make it more generic from?
Just say fuel
fuelman
card?
to fuel card.
sure?
And I don't know if it matters language wise, but it's not just one card. We have multiple cards depending on, well, basically each vehicle has a card in it.
Okay.
And then we have another additional card that does all of our park gas and everything. So there's
So
not a card actually allotted to a person. They're allotted to vehicles.
Are you suggesting, council member, you would like to see us get rid of branding specific and just call it a generic fuel card?
Just a fuel card.
Yes, I think that's a very reasonable request. Generic.
And who's the credit card administrator?
That would be our treasurer, and the treasurer and mayor do not have credit cards.
Okay.
So the only ones that are possessed by anyone in the city are obviously our 2 public works, and then our clerk, Bridget, has it for all administrative purposes.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
for clarification, this is the cleaned up version that we asked to come back to us?
So
Correct, so
what
this-
we talked about last month was actually a procurement policy, and you kicked it to finance committee, but if you remember, it was a bigger policy and we did not get it. We did work on it last finance committee, but we don't have that.
Okay.
But this was also something that was in the pipeline that I don't know has actually gotten to you guys yet.
Okay.
But it is now cleared through the finance committee, and it's a much simpler policy.
I see. Okay, I'm clear. Thank you.
Oh, no, any other, yeah.
So one change I was thinking about is part of this, if you go to
Like, what is
section 4, annual control and disclosure, right before section 5. The revisions remove the monthly disclosure prepared for city council to report various metrics on their credit cards. Do we wanna make that an annual report? Because I don't think we should just not have a report given to city council.
I agree.
And that section can be split out pretty easily.
We could even do it every 6 months, because typically we do our budget one time a year, and then midsummer we do a, budget to actuals, kind of true up and stuff, so I mean, we'll do it at whatever frequency you all want,
We
but
can do it every 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, either quarterly or 6 months. I'm fine with 6 months.
And we are on the second paragraph.
Yes.
Right before 5.
So Dan, yeah, can you tell me where we are at, cause I didn't hear that.
Oh, right before section 5.
Oh, okay, thank you,
Paragraph
sir.
Before section 5.
Excuse me.
I think it needs to be more frequently than annually,
Yeah,
and almost more frequently than quarterly.
Well, we can make an.
I mean, for half,
Yeah.
or semi.
would you like it quarterly then? I mean, to me, 6 months or every 4 or 3 months is reasonable.
My idea was to split this out because this is basically changed to make sure that the credit card administrator reports any issues to city council. But there's no real time limit on this.
Right.
So I would split it out into either a 6-month or annual disclosure report on metrics or whatever. And then require that the treasurer report any issues found
Absolutely,
at the next council meeting,
absolutely.
so we're not left
Yeah.
wondering what's going on.
But if you do it more frequently than every quarter, as you know, sometimes things roll month to month. So what we might think is a question mark, then ends up not, do you know what I'm saying? But we can do it whatever you guys want.
And remember, it's report unauthorized expenditure.
Yeah, that's just like when
Of
something is
outside,
found
yeah.
outside of the use policy. That should be reported at the next.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah,
so I would hope it wouldn't be quarterly.
Yes.
We would have a problem.
What was the verbiage you would like us to put in? So just so that we can say, at time of unauthorized use will be presented at the next council, and then there will be just a check-in every quarter about where we are with credit
Or every
cards?
6 months.
Yeah,
I think 6 months is fine if we're just gonna report issues at the next meeting.
I would tell you, you guys would know within 30 days if there was an actual.
Yeah, no, I think we should say, yeah, so I would like to see something where it says, we'll report it at the next council meeting, unauthorized expenditures.
We say within 30 days, I'm just,
Oh, yeah,
I
sure.
just don't want us to, so let's say something happens tomorrow, or it happened 2 days ago, and we didn't even get a chance to vet if it was a
Right.
real thing, and then a council meeting came and went, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think within 30 days, you would all know.
Yeah, I'm good within 30 days, and then a report of 6 months compiling. Yeah, do we need 6 months? I think we're fine if we just do 30 days. Because this section just relates to unauthorized expenditures, any losses to the city.
I think you would still want a 6 months, so for instance, let's say that, Matt loses his car, you're not gonna want to know that like literally we just canceled that card and reissued that card and there was nothing, there was no outside charges, that's just to me, just general maintenance, and then we would be very happy to present to you, like, just so you know, nothing happened, or we did lose a card and it was closed down within 24 hours and we reissued it and we checked and there was no things. That could be done every 6 months, along with the, budget and then the reconciliation of the budget. But yeah, if someone was out of compliance with this, you would know within 30 days.
Okay, that sounds good, so.
Yeah.
Yep,
So I would restore most of this paragraph to its original intent about the annual reporting that occurs every 6 months.
Okay.
Right.
And then add a sentence after or before that says, any unauthorized use or, exceptions to the policy would just be reported within 30 days.
Okay.
right, that sounds good.
And Tina, are you okay if me and Bridget make some amending, but send it to you, just so that you and Sean to make sure that it's reflective of this conversation before we bring it forward again? Sure. Awesome. All right, any other questions on our policy? We're starting to clearinghouse these policies. I'm loving it. We've been sitting on them for a while. All right. Well, we'll move on to the actions for item consideration. First, we have our consent agenda. Our consent agenda includes city council regular meeting minutes, our March check registry, our April check registry, and the treasurer's report for the March of 2026, and treasurer's reported April 2026. But that treasurer's report is really just the fund, the fund levels, not like the dashboard you're used to getting or anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
The consent agenda as reported here, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Off to the FDR bid tab.
Well, we had our bid opening and I know ahead of time, when I spoke last month, there was a little bit of nervousness about with everything going on in the world, what that was gonna do to the bids, but, you can see we have the updated cost estimate from TIB. And, the bid tab is in the Welch Comer paperwork and basically all the bids were great, but, Shamrock came in the lowest. Welch Comer looked them over, gave it the blessing, they didn't miss anything. Went to Andrew and we ended up getting a little bit of additional funding, which is great, and it was such a minute amount that he didn't even have to take it before his board that meets this coming week, and he was able to say, yep, we'll give you this much more, and so it let us, make sure we got that pedestrian hybrid beacon included in there as well, and I think we're all set to let Shamrock
Yeah.
make congestion in Millwood again this year.
Absolutely. I do wanna make a commentary about the TIB. I had to apply for him to reconsider, but I made sure that was not lit like a binding, like I was not committing $115,000 to city funds, so I just wanna make that clear.
Okay.
When you see my signature, I didn't and then we'll ask for a vote later. That was actually just, something we had to do for him to be able to consider
Yeah.
giving us additional funding.
So you're looking for a motion to award the bid?
I'm gonna actually have Brian help us,
On that one, yeah, award the, are you awarding base and at?
Add alternate one, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah, so award the, base, bid and add alternate one to the purported lowest responsive bidder, Shamrock Paving. For the, what do we call this, the FDR project.
phase two
Let's
of
turn
our
off
project.
what Brian just said.
I'll second.
Great, so all in favor of what Brian just said, which is essentially that we're gonna move forward with the FDR project as articulated here and give it to the lowest qualified bidder, which ended up being Shamrock.
Yep.
All say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing no abstentions or opposed, it passes. Wonderful. And Kyle, do you wanna present for the HVAC bidding?
I've put a lot of work into this in the last month or so, getting everybody on the same page with what equipment we actually have versus what they had on their paperwork. They were surprisingly close and competitive, which was good. As you can see on the breakdown of the bid tab, it looks like Klein's beat out Ivco by just a very small margin. And I mean, that pleases me because they're the ones that came to our aid last summer when it was 100 degrees in here and nobody else, we couldn't get a hold of anybody, so that's good. And I would just ask the council to award the project to Klein's as the lowest bidder, pending a mutual approval of our public works contract. I have to have Brian go over the contract with them, make sure everybody's in agreement and stuff, and as long as everybody's copacetic there, we can sign them and have air conditioning and heat for a couple of years.
So we're asking to move forward with that process.
So this is a 2-year service contract to maintain all of the city's HVAC?
On the town hall, yes, which I guess is all of it, we don't really have just space heaters everywhere yet.
Question?
I'd say
So I have a question. So Kyle, in terms of your experience with HVAC, for a 2-year contract, we're looking at almost, 9,700. What's the age of the equipment? Are we getting up there in age?
So this stuff was all just replaced in like 2018, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not an HVAC guy.
Right.
I know that, you're supposed to get at least 15 to 20 years out of your residential stuff. I'm not sure if that's what commercial stuff goes with too or not, but I mean, I have pretty good confidence that we're in good standing for a good while longer, you know?
Okay.
And Johnson Controls is the only person that did not come out on site. All the rest of the three of them, they came out, they looked over everything, every one of the mini split heads downstairs, the compressors for those, and we climbed up on the roof and took access panels off all those units up there, and nobody said anything that, you know, made me think we were gonna have to replace anything anytime soon. We are doing quite frequent filter changes on the overhead units, which is what controls everything upstairs here, just because of the volume of dirt and debris that comes off of argon. So we're gonna make sure we change those filters out frequently, but other than that, I mean, I'm confident in what we got going here. And I know that last year when clients came in, because originally Air Control, they put this whole system in upstairs and downstairs. And we had them back multiple times trying to figure out little issues, and they, especially with the mini splits downstairs, and they couldn't figure it out. And then apparently Air Control went out of business. Lisa ended up calling clients, and they came out to fix our emergency in here last year. And then I had them come back out a couple weeks later, and within 20 minutes, he had figured out something that the guys from Air Control had been out 3 or 4 times and couldn't figure out.
They
So-
unplugged it, plugged it
Something
back
like
in. Every time.
So I'm confident with the HVAC infrastructure we have on this
Good.
building to
Okay.
last a good while longer, especially if we get in a good service agreement and keep up on this
Yeah,
maintenance.
I think that's a key thing. Okay, sounds good.
Wonderful. Do I hear any motions from the council in regards to approving Kyle to move forward pending a mutually agreed upon contract with clients as the lowest bidder?
I'll make a motion to award the Millwood City Hall HVAC service and maintenance contract to lowest responsive bidder number 1, Kleins Heating, for 2 years in the amount of $9,757.44, contingent upon approval by legal. How's that? I think that's total amount.
Is that annual or 2-year?
That's the 2-year.
Yeah, that's the 2-year with tax and everything.
I'll second.
Awesome. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? So passes.
It is just good to see all the bids so close.
I know. Same with the FDR. It was all within like 200,000 of not only the engineer's bid, but each of the three. It was gave confidence.
It's a weird world out there now.
You would
People are
know.
hungry, but they wanna make money too.
Yeah.
I was involved with another project and the two proposals were within hundreds of dollars, and we're talking 10,000. You know, it's one of them compared to 3, so that's
Well,
what
it
we
really
did.
increases your confidence, you know,
Yes.
in it. And then I will give Matt Gillis a big shout out, cause he went through and also was like, I wanna make sure they charged enough for traffic control, because that's where people come in under, and so. All right, moving on to our reports, no actions for this. I invite Aaron Hall, our acting treasurer, to give a report.
Hello, everybody. I'm brand new to the city council here. Just to get you guys up to speed what I've been doing. All of our quarterly filings for the first quarter of 2024, payroll-related quarterly filings were submitted. I also submitted, prior to the 4:30 deadline, the annual report for the state and local fiscal recovery funds reporting. So back in, I believe it was 2020, the city received a little over $500,000 in SLFRF funds. That report that I submitted was reviewed by the State Department of Commerce representative of that grant program. And she gave the thumbs up on it, and I should be hearing back from the Department of Treasury either by the end of the month or early June for final closeout of that project. What is coming up is our annual state auditor's office submission. I'm working on that. I should have that done in the next couple of weeks for Shauna's review. And we'll get that submitted, the auditor's in and out, and then on to the budgeting side of things, so.
Can you tell us what the SLRF means?
State and local fiscal recovery funds.
Yeah, so I just wanna give Aaron a shout out because there was, I'm gonna say 18,000, he's probably correct me and say it was 17,500 what? But there was a variance, that they actually felt like we almost needed to reimburse because they didn't feel like it had been coded correctly back in 2020, but he tirelessly worked on it, with the state funders, and we were able to get the thumbs up and the,
The state gave the thumbs up. The real question is gonna be what the Department of Treasury comes back with.
yeah.
That, they're the final thumbs up, thumbs down on that, so.
But they felt encouraged, so potentially, he mitigated us writing a $18,000 check.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
And Clerk Bridget Gill,
Alright,
who's been super busy this month.
Oh my goodness. It's been one alright. Okay, so 2 public records requests have been completed. Currently working on 2 other requests with Savannah to be sent out this month. Code enforcement has ramped up, as forewarned. The Bank of America building, the graffiti has been removed. So that was a plus. For the Roosters and Hens complaint on Empire, a letter was sent to the property owner outlining what animals are allowed for their zone, and we're allowing time for them to respond to that. A new complaint was received on Jackson. A camper was reported parked across the street from a neighbor with an extension cord running from the house to the trailer to power a generator. We have been documenting how long the RV has been staying with the assistance of Matt and Kyle. They also have had a Connex and storage containers being placed on the street of the property and in the driveway, so we've been monitoring that. A letter was sent out just informing them what the municipal code outlines. With that being received, the Connex on the street and the trailer are now gone. So there's one left in the driveway. So that was a plus on that. We are moving to streamline complaints. We now have a acknowledgement letter that we're gonna be utilizing for future citizens action request forms once received. An update on the AWC conference coming up in June 25th. We are putting out invitations, Mayor Beasley is inviting council members on planning. So we'll need a head count on who plans to attend.
And when is that?
It's actually on June 18th.
Hang it, I'll be out of town.
June 25th with, do we need June 18th?
Oh,
Is our
submitted by June
deadline.
18th is a deadline, but we're trying to actually submit in the next couple of weeks, so.
I'd like to attend.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Perfect. Tina,
Yeah.
Dan,
And I have to look.
Yeah.
Me too, I don't think I'm gonna make that.
that's okay, I mean, just so you know, almost, a lot of other cities also have to declare it a potential public meeting, so don't let that hinder you just because 2 council members. But I also understand how busy people are, so just get back to us in the next couple of weeks. We're hoping to get on the early bird situation.
That's June 25th.
June 25th is the actual conference. I think it's just the first day of the concert.
It's actually all week.
Yeah,
It's almost 3 days, isn't it?
yeah.
23rd through the 26th, they don't really do anything, but
So starts June 23rd. Might
I
be
think the main
Glacier.
thing is on the 25th. I'd have to,
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the little thing, it says 25th, but it's been my experience, they usually run a couple days. You know, there's a big day in the middle, but then there's the afternoon day and then an evening reception.
Quite a few tours, interesting.
I'm actually very excited for this and, both Bridget and I plan on attending. I believe Aaron, if he's available, is gonna attend. I think it's a good opportunity when they're in Spokane, cause then it's just really us paying for the registration and not like sending people to travel, so.
I wouldn't mind going on the Kaiser tour. Cause they also talk about groundwater cleanup. I've never heard having a groundwater problem out of Kaiser, but apparently there has been.
Aluminum?
Wow.
Mm.
I don't know what the cleanup was.
That place is horrible.
Mm-hmm. So if you could get back to Bridget in the next couple weeks, that would be great. And we'll, do all the stuff, get people registered, and then also declare a public meeting if required.
Alright, and that concludes my report.
That was a beautiful report. I feel like didn't even reflect even a fraction of what has happened. All right, facilities, Kyle.
I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but last week Matt and I finished up some landscaping around the ADA ramp and down the west side of the building. Getting rid of some overburden and putting some black basalt rock chips in there, so it kind of ties into the front of the building and the east side of the building. We've been interviewing multiple people for the lifeguard positions and the seasonal park position. And I've been working through making sure the lifeguards have their proper first aid certifications and gathering their information so we can do background checks and get them all ready to roll for the summer. We are planning on opening the pool on, I believe it's Monday, June 22nd. Will be the first day for the pool. We'll probably open the splash pad prior to that if the weather's warm enough and stuff. The guys are out and about fixing and adjusting sprinklers all around town and getting irrigations turned on and starting to do the first mowings of the season. We've hauled off 4 loads of street sweepings that were accumulated from the winter mess that we had and got those out to Graham Road disposal. And I've just been spending a lot of time in the office working on temp employee stuff and HVAC stuff and 6-year street plan stuff and FDR stuff and code enforcement stuff and everything else. Yep. That's all I got.
What is the age for the part-time parks, the seasonal parks person?
Seasonal park person, I believe, is 16. We kind of like to find an older person if we can, that can at least, no, I don't mean older person, but anybody over 18, because that means they can drive our vehicles.
Okay.
Because like Dalton and stuff, you have to be able to drive a vehicle to haul grass clippings and all the equipment and stuff. So in a perfect world, I'd like to find somebody that is over 18 so they can have a driver's license and be insured on our vehicles.
Okay. I got somebody totally opposite.
Perfect, you're hired.
July 1st, you'll be 16. That will not work.
Good.
I just don't want them at home.
Matt.
All the routine water samples came back good again this month. We took a sample at Old Park and that came back good, so we got that running. Higher water usage right now. We did have a power supply go out at Butler, so Bigfoot came out and replaced that. That's all up and running again. We replaced a meter and curb stop box at 3019 North Argonne. And we'll be having the Lilac sprinklers come out and test all our backflow devices the 28th of this month. And in sewer, AAA finished cleaning the sewer lines in area 2 and all our lift stations. And we're gonna be getting a new panel at lift station 3. It's the last one that needs to be updated. It runs all the sewer stuff down there. And they said that will ship out on the 27th of this month.
Thank you. Any questions for Matt?
Matt, has Lilac City confirmed their date?
Yeah.
Cause they haven't returned, they haven't done, I called them right after I got the letter, I haven't heard a word from them, so. And I don't think the neighbor across the street did it either, so. I think we better give them a call.
Perfect. Any other questions? Well, Amanda has included her report in here as usual and is available via email for any direct questions. Brian, did you have anything you want to share?
Nothing specific, just trying to be available for Mayor and Bridget and anybody else as the need arises, so yeah.
Very nice.
City's staff's been busy.
Here. Perfect. Well, for my report, I'll just spotlight really quickly 3 social events coming up. Coffee with Mayor tomorrow, both at 8 o'clock and 10:30. Then we have our neighborhood block party that's coming up. For the first one is, and there's these if you want at the back, so we're honoring our first responders, military and caregiving professionals. And I wanna make sure that we're all in recognition that Public Works falls in first responder, as I was corrected earlier today. But that pizza will be out at 4 o'clock, right there between the city and the firehouse, and we're excited about that. It's not only hosted by Hutton and us, it is also hosted by Scope, and they're bringing like 150 like corner door cookies in addition to all the free pizza that we can eat. So please come out. We're not benefited by being right next door to a bar, so we're still hoping people will show up. And then I did meet with Deputy Ball again. Yeah, things are ramping up, as Bridget said, as we go into spring. Just a polite reminder, even if you want to contact Deputy Ball, even with the city, we sometimes do engage him specifically on things like for the Bank of America. We also have to file a crime check report, because if we were just texting him and then no one's registering the crime report, we would have no way of accounting for those hours or justifying those things. So it's just really important that we still use crime check. I also met this month with the executive director of the Spokane Regional Transportation, and both Kyle and I took her for a lovely walk down the Argonne corridor so she could see all the beautiful stuff that our TIB funding has purchased. And did you have anything you want to share about that? I thought she had some good insights about other potential future projects we might bring forward.
Yeah, she had some insight on the stormwater puddle that we have down there that needs to be resolved, that Matt, Dallas, and I are pursuing. Kind of an avenue that we hadn't thought about exactly, so that was beneficial, and it was a good collaboration.
It is. And then also, our director, Andrew, who's been working very closely with us for TIB, he's actually moving on. He was promoted to a state level position. So we're getting a new director, and Kyle, myself, and Matt Gillis will be going up to Cawville on the 27th of this month to meet with that person and introduce ourselves and acquaint that person with all of our projects. And then the next newsletter, so in June, one of the things Aaron didn't get to is we're hoping to, in June, once we put to bed the SAO report, which he's doing a great job getting us all, once that goes, and we take a big sigh of relief, because that's the last big thing to cross this. Our hope is to, in the June meeting, bring our budget to actuals and maybe even start talking about how we might reconcile, also bring forth a staffing plan. We have a deputy clerk. We don't know if that's what we're gonna end up calling this person, but we have this lovely person, Elizabeth, who's now here on a 90-day contract to be expected to be converted to permanent once the probationary period closes. We also have some temporary help for Aaron in regards 2-day-a-week help for AP management. That is also something I would like to convert to a permanent, per the discussions that we've been having. So we're hoping to bring those forward. And then the last thing that I'm hoping that we can have a conversation around as we look at our budget to actuals, and if there's money permitting around reconciliation, is that comprehensive rate study for our water plan and such. I know that that's been mentioned a few times. I do believe that the public has only brought forth favorable, they either don't care or they brought forth favorable, like, yeah, I think we should do that. And then Aaron and I, once the SAO report's been put to bed, because he has a background in some water, we were gonna maybe potentially look at some grants that he was thinking that might be available for us for a comprehensive rate study. But to set the table, in my June newsletter on the backside, I am going to have a kind of a breakdown of explaining, a very high level, obviously, where does our water bill come from and where does our sewer bill come from? Because that is a question that we get called quite frequently about and stuff, and so starting to get that discussion out there. Any questions for me? Pardon?
The first block party.
The first block party, my
What was the
friend,
date on that?
is May 15th. Here's your personal invitation at 1600 4 o'clock p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Yeah. So no more questions for any of us. We'll move on to council information. I don't see any discussion. So any additional public remarks? Yes, please.
Tom Beasy, East 8610 East South River Way, and myself and two other households were wondering for Liberty to help with traffic calming if the pedestrian crosswalks could be do something with them so it's a different feel when people go over them, make them a different material, or one person suggested, cut into the cut into the asphalt so it would give a little bit of a rumble or something when vehicles go across. So something to think about when you're doing that.
Yeah, I'll discuss that with Maggie.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of something maybe like the red ones that are concrete and argon possibly, or.
Well, something that, well, the brightness of the red is certainly a plus, and that might be an addition for Liberty and any other pedestrian crosswalks in Millwood. But something that is a different texture, so when you drive over it, you know that something's different here.
Okay.
Okay, and the neighborhood block party. If I could get about 30 copies of this, I could pass them out to all the businesses here
Okay,
for us. So, okay,
thank you.
thank you.
So Matt, just to set a reasonable expectation on that Liberty, that would just be incorporated to the conversation we're already having around the Liberty for the STIP, correct? Because I don't want to give people the impression like, oh, show up at a meeting and we'll get right on that project for you tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's just gonna be.
But we'd add that because what we could do is paint it this time, but I know that we'd already talked about potentially doing something around our crosswalks as we tackle the Liberty portion. Wonderful. Any other public comments or remarks? Seeing none, looks like we might get out at 60 minutes. Any announcements that anybody has? Our next meeting will be on June 9th, 2026, 6 o'clock. Now, Bridget, were you, you said that Amanda might be trying to have a special meeting at 5 o'clock that day?
For the workshop for planning commission for their periodic update. So she was hoping to do a special meeting before council, joining with planning.
So it looks like on June 9th, oops, did you have something, Regina? On June 9th, it looks like we will be asking for a special meeting from 1700 to 1800, and then at 6 o'clock PM, we'll have our normal, meeting. Council remarks, oh my gosh, I'm just not reading in order today.
That's okay.
Council remarks, Councilmember Stravens.
Thank you, staff. Welcome, Aaron. Thanks for everything. Appreciate it. Good job.
Dan.
I second that. The reports are precise and informative. Thank you.
So the speed humps that are down by your house, last night there was an incident. And there was some spray paint. The kid that got his truck screwed up, spray painted bumps on it. And I stopped. I went by it to see, and it was funny, so I turned around. And I talked to him, and I said, do you really think that little spray paint is better than the big white paint marks and the directional arrows at the bumps? Well, there should be signs. And I go, oh. So I got out of my truck, and I walked with him, and I said, there it is. You'll see the back of that sign? Those are the signs coming this direction. And he's like, I go, the problem is you were going too fast. No, he was doing 25. I go, that's too fast. You see, the sign says 15. It's recommended you do 15, but the speed limit is 25. And he was doing over 25. And the driver's like, no, I wasn't. I go, I have seen cars hit the ones in front of my house over 50 miles an hour. And they didn't lose a tire.
Oh,
It broke the wheel off his truck and it shoved it in the wheel. Oh, it was awesome. Wow. So I had this good conversation, so we might want to get out and spray paint the bump or cover it up, whatever. I mean, it's written like this big.
Yeah, the last time that happened, we went out there with some black traffic paint and rolled it out.
So today I was driving, I was like, oh, I wonder if that would help.
Yeah.
And you see it the last second because you got to be right on top. So then you hit the brakes hard, sags your vehicle, you hit the front of your vehicle on the bump, and then your vehicle goes up as you hit the bump and you slam the next one. It's like, that's a horrible idea. That kid wasn't an engineer. Other than that, I think Officer Ball, it would behoove him to be down that way more.
Okay.
I did have an incident where I was looking to talk to Officer Ball, but I just went out and we had a little bit of a street racing thing in the start. And I walked out there and I was like, hey, what's going on? I go, these are really cool, but they're super loud. And if you start doing stupid things, I'm gonna have to call the cops.
Yeah,
So I gave him a better road to go to.
I love that. Man, you're just out there,
I come into town, I
doing
get
the
things done.
over-the-shoulder mentoring that we can benefit from.
I sit in South Dakota for 9 weeks with no one to talk to. And I get here and I'm ready.
You're ready.
But I appreciate everything everybody's doing, and you're doing a great job.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much,
Yes.
Councilmember Van Hees. On the Officer Ball, were you had to escalate it any further? Were you gonna go to
I would have
crime
taken care
check?
of it.
You just were gonna take
Yeah.
care of it? Okay. Well, I do encourage the crime check, and I do wanna.
I did. I called crime check and reported it, and then when the guy crashed, I called crime check, and I
Did you
actually had
really?
a deputy call me,
Yes.
and I explained. I was like, well, and the guy was I mean, he was like this, sitting on the ground when I pulled up, and I go, he might have left Storm and Norman be totally drunk, sitting on the ground right now.
I really appreciate you doing the
Yeah.
crime check.
Well, I like to call him and tell him all sorts of stuff. So
I just want to polite remind you, because I would, if I.
He is lonesome. Thank God he doesn't
Deputy
have
Ball does at the end of the day work 3 days a week, if we just recall, and some of that work is not always in our streets. So like
Right.
if
Oh,
he
no, I
gets
get
sent
that.
at a conference, then he's off. So I just wanted to.
yeah, and I get that he's not going to be here, but having a presence there really all day, and I'm not talking in front of our house, because
Yes.
those people, you can tell by the gouges taken out, people are starting to learn. But I think further down, they're not learning.
Yeah, no, that's really good feedback.
And I would
absolutely.
like to see, if we're going to do temporary speed bumps at the intersections, we go all the way across.
That's,
So he can give you a report. Kyle's vetted that very topic.
yeah, we're doing that.
Good.
I'm hoping to have them done by the end of this week.
We vetted it and everything.
Can I get I don't think I was originally just gonna do, Empire East and West, all the way across the street.
Yeah.
Do we wanna do Fowler?
I don't think we need to, because the problem is east and west, because people are going from bump to bump as fast as they can.
Well, and I thought about it, it's like, even if we don't do, if you're heading north on Fowler from Trent, there won't be one at that stop sign, but whichever way you decide to turn, you're
Yeah.
still gonna end up going over.
And
one.
they're not gonna be, they can't get away from it.
Right.
And then, just since I've been home, there's a lot of dodging. So what I would just throw it out there. At each speed hump to look at, doing a sidewalk. So you have a pedestrian curb, keeping you out of the street. And you just have, it can be 20 feet long. And that will stop people from trying to go around the speed humps, because there's stuff in the way.
I know we tried to taper them down by about halfway or so through the bike lane, so bikes weren't,
Yeah, well, I think, right off the road, if you put up a pedestrian curb and a 4-foot sidewalk, and then you could even do another ped curb, that would give kids just a place to stand when they're waiting for the bus and keep them out of traffic and funnel them to the crosswalk. And it would dual purpose. People aren't gonna try to skate around, because both sides, people are just flying through people's yards.
We can also, I think that that's a good long term, but as you know, anytime we're talking about hardscaping, that's not gonna happen overnight.
Right, oh no, I get it.
Okay, yeah, but one of the things has come out loud and clear. I appreciate that you over the shoulder mentored them to the actual signs that exist. But people have actually said the signage is not good enough for night, and then also during the snow, so we're also looking at some signage right outside that would take up some of that shoulder space as well.
Well, I think, so neighbor John across the street, everybody in here probably knows him. He is like, well, what about a flashing light? I was like, well, the problem with that is that's right in my bedroom window. And, well, what if it was motion censored? I go, again, it's right in my window. So last night, it was dark, we were driving around, I was like, let's see. You can see those signs. That's the first thing you see. Cause it's a bright yellow thing right out in the middle of nowhere. So signage is fine. Striping, I would say if we're gonna redo striping, white striping on the road, and maybe the arrows have them orange.
So I don't know what that's gonna do with MUTCD guidelines, cause
Yeah,
that
see,
was
I think it's a-
all that was white. I don't know if there's gonna be an issue there or not,
Okay.
cause then technically it's not following them. I don't know, that'd be an engineer question probably if.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a hard, I mean, it's unfortunate that hardscape is so expensive and so difficult to do. But you can't really put a rock there because then we're liable. We put a freaking rock and they just smash into it.
I would encourage you, because it sounds like you got a lot of ideas, good ideas, each
I have
and
a
every
lot
one
of time to
them.
think about things.
So I would actually encourage sending that to Kyle, and we could dust that off at one of our public works committees and really dive into it and reconcile that with our emerging STIP plan, because you know there's a process to things.
Well, and I think we have an engineered, Garco has done some of these, so I might have an engineered drawing that gives you everything you need. And I might have an end.
Well, I don't know that you want that kind of. Why don't you think about it?
Yeah.
Send your email to Public Works Director.
Yeah.
Then we will discuss it at the next Public
Sure.
Works Committee. Is that cool?
Yeah.
But I love the
But I
metrics and
think,
getting
I
out
do
there.
like the fact that they're gonna make a sidewalk empire. That's just the way the world's going. When you do improvements, they're gonna force people to do a strip of sidewalk that there isn't any more sidewalk, but they did an improvement, so these people had to do a sidewalk. So if we gave them a starting point, and then, oh, that's what it's gonna look like when we have to do our sidewalk.
Thank you, Councilmember. Sean, did you have any comments?
Sorry.
Yeah, welcome Aaron, and thanks to city staff.
Perfect. Councilmember Tina Seifert.
Thank you, staff and everybody for doing this. I hope moms had a great Mother's Day. LaDonna, I think, might have been a late. She jumped out of her seat when Andy was.
Well, I mean, I feel like we've gone off the rails,
Yeah.
so we'll go ahead and make one last
Yeah.
provision. Go ahead and come on up for your public comments. Please state your
We have
address.
a late arrival public comment.
Only because we're with some time to spare.
When I was at, okay, LaDonna DeMent, 10306 East Empire, but when I was at the planning committee, they allow that, so sorry, I kind of went. But I just wanted to say, I didn't know you were gonna bring it up, otherwise I would have come up. But yes, when that happened last night, they were going faster. I mean, because we can hear the cars coming, we have our doors open every night, and you can hear them, and Kyle goes, oh, that car's not gonna stop. And then we heard it happen, and then I went outside to go do something, and I looked over and I go, and I go out back in there, I go, he's broke his front end, so, but that has not happened to other people, so I'm thinking his car might have been compromised already, his truck anyway. But I was just gonna bring it up about motorcycle with a person on it, a passenger on it the other day. This car slowed down to go over, and the motorcycle zipped right around them in that part where there's no, hump. So, and then we have put up rocks and stuff like that, but we've put, what am I trying to say, reflectors though, to let them know that they're there.
Yeah.
And people have, knocked our rocks over because they want to try to, and we did that because they're driving into our yard
Yeah.
and our neighbor's yard, and so.
So do you think in that, down there, if you had let's just call it a 6 foot wide sidewalk with a 6-inch pedestrian curbs?
Well, yeah, or just something, or if maybe there's no way to, and Kyle might have told me this already, but maybe there's no way to put those parts that go over into the bike path already. Maybe you can't do that after the fact, but anyway, just some thoughts.
Thank you very much, LaDonna. We had plenty of time today, so we went ahead and allowed the conversation to unfold. But I just want to remind that public comments are not actually two-way dialogues. So, no, perfect.
We're workshopping this
We're
last
done.
4 minutes.
Workshop. Awesome. So no announcements, set the new meeting and motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Any seconds?
I'll second that.
Perfect. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
None opposed, none abstained. Motion passes.